Okay, first Slander.
I'm fucking invincible! Like I said, kids are cool, Jack. And I'm very in touch with my inner child.
Comparing me to Sundowners is actually pretty interesting. Because again, I'm a charge blade main, right? And so pretty much, I'm just gonna tell you this. Yes, charge blade can literally be invincible. You wanna know why? Because if you have guard 5 of guard up, and you literally guard point any monster's attacks that are continuous, you will not take any other damage until they do another attack. Even a Longsword can literally parry Fatalis's like numbing attacks whenever he's in all fours, but they'll still get hit at the end of it if they're not careful. Because with CB here, I can literally guard point him once, and if I'm underneath his chest, I won't take any more damage. So therefore, proves my point. I am invincible. I am the Sundowner. You wanna know why? Because you're not gonna be better than me at CB, when I'm the only CB user that is better than every other CB user in world only. Now he's talking about X mode, so he hasn't mentioned Savage X, but if he has mentioned Savage X, that's braindead, and everyone will say the same thing again. Savage X, Savage X, Savage X. Literally, if you look at my plays, I do something with X play. That literally gives you a shortcut instead if you don't want to do an AD or an SAED, and then the moment that you actually flinch the monster, or whatever you actually topple the monster, go ahead. That's when you're able to throw in an SAED. Or you're able to throw in AED if you want to build up stun. Simple as that. SAED is always your big damage, not Axe. Axe is a substitute to it. Only SAED can actually bring you good rewards when you bring it down towards the monster who is toppled. Alright, let's read this next Slander. Tiresome to work with, okay. Elemental burst attacks seem a little slow to get a decent hit off. Well, here's the thing. Elemental files do deploy slower slightly than impact files. You have to be sure on how to throw your SAED. If you don't know how to do so, what do I always say throughout my Slanders? It's a you problem. Apart from starting off the first fights against Valhazan, what am I doing wrong here? I can tell you what you're doing wrong here. You're not playing it properly, and you're also not playing it carefully. You basically have no idea how to play with Charge Blade, therefore you're basically chugging so many potions. You also don't know the monster's movesets, therefore I got a feeling you might be a newbie. If you're a newbie, I understand that, but if you're a professional player, really? You're stupid. If you prefer Swaxe, stay with Swaxe. You don't need to be in the CB lane, obviously. That's about it. Like I said for my part 2 Slander, not even the Italians would approve such a name. Whoever doesn't have really big knowledge about Charge Blade and doesn't see it as an SAED type of weapon will obviously say this. Why? Because this is the only thing that they see from their eyes, and they believe this is the only way how you play Charge Blade. Incorrect. People will say this only because they have to deal with Savage Axe users. Do you see why this is a problem? When I go out and only do SAED in multiple or possibly hundreds and hundreds of hunts that I've joined in SOS, not one person that I've seen complained about me being a problem as a Charge Blade user. All I did was SAED and simply put all my efforts onto damaging the boss and carrying the matchup. Not a single person, aside from my attitude with me being passionate and the way how I'm talking, because obviously none of you guys know me until I showed up. And so me sharing this information with you here, I know exactly what I'm doing with Charge Blade. Most of the people don't. You need a PhD physics to use it? Alright, call me Gordon Freeman then. What guard? What guard? Say that to Safi Jiva. What guard? Say that to Fatalis. What guard? Say that to Alatreon. What guard? Say that to Rajang. What guard? Say that to pretty much every single endgame monster, bro. Say that. See, there you go, guys. A Longsword user complaining about a Sav Axe user. If it's an SAED user, you will hardly get any complaints from teammates. Hardly. You want to make it complicated for yourself and never use your head? It's like I said, it's a you problem. You want to go on to some posts like Reddit of all places just to complain about CB because you're an attention seeker? Attention seeking ass motherfucker. Another attention seeker, just for your information. 9,000 IQ? Yeah, you're basically saying that's for me. Because I'm the only Charge Blade main who knows how to play with Charge Blade, build it correctly. Even build Frostcraft. Even SAED all monsters within the endgame ice board. Even knows what to bring against them. Even know every single boss's moveset. And you also talk about SA. You see? Uneducated will only talk about Savage Axe. No, you don't. Like I said, SAED can literally be built with great damage if built correctly. Savage Axe users that I've seen throughout the past literally built it so bad that it makes me want to bleach out my eyes or possibly do this. Same time, I'm gonna let you know. If you build it the way I do, coming from this video that I posted right here as an image, or you go to my Steam guide and look at my builds, you can see how I actually do a lot more damage compared to every single Savage Axe user. You wanna know why? Because I have 9,000 IQ and I know how to build correctly. Attack 7. Attack 7. I want you guys to pause this video right here just to read what I posted a comment to possibly one of my subscribers here. You get to see why I suggest you don't put it to attack 7 along with the stuff that I explained about with Wax and Crit Boost. It's funny how you're directing CB for being a tryhard. But here's the 5 weapons I believe that isn't tryhard. Charge Blade, Bow, Lance, Greatsword, and of course, Hunting Horn. Those 5 weapons there, I respect you. But any other weapon that I didn't mention, I don't respect you. You wanna know why? Because they're the ones that are more tryhardy than the weapons that I just mentioned. Because a Longsword, Dual Blades, Sword and Shield, weapons that are small, and yet they can have so much of utility, so much of mobility, so much of damage, and yet we refuse to help out the slow weapons. Grapple onto the monster so that the great swords can throw in a TCS. Grapple so a CB can throw in SAED. Grapple so that a Hunting Horn can try to apply some stuns to the head. Literally. 3.3k hunts with CB. SAED simply doesn't match evade. Bro, let me tell you some differences here. SAED literally has a bigger advantage than your sorry ass Savage Axe. Savage Axe only has to rely on evade. But when it comes to a situation where you're about to get one-shotted, let's just say for example Fatalis, because he's obviously everyone's talk. If he does the one-shot and you're basically about to get yourself out of the way from the hit zone, but you still get hit at the end of it, that's on you. What does an SAED do? They have guard 5, guard up, and guess what? They can stay underneath them without being scared. And they can literally block 2 things. The impact, which is the fireball one-shot, 2, wind force, and 3, dive attack. And the 4th one too is being the 2nd wind force, man. The nerf wasn't too harsh, you just suck! You failed to see that SAED was actually good all along from the very beginning.
Oh really? All Charge Blade users are cultists? Alright, call me Alatreon then. Queue up cultist base, please.
You say it's slow, you say it's big, okay. Then let me tell you this. How are you slow to realize that Charge Blade has something that you couldn't even realize yet? Oh wait, you dropped it just like everyone else and super glued Longsword to your hands, right? Yes, this is bigger, but guess what? Everyone always keeps talking about Savage Axe instead of SAED. Inferior SNS, you're trying to compare to an SNS, pointless. They're both different movesets, both different weapons. You're a joke. So basically a guy right here is claiming he doesn't use CB but he only uses Switch Axe, and he's giving advice to someone who uses CB. What's the logic here? Wrong. SAED hasn't been dead, it's just you guys decided to drop it for yourselves. What was the decision making? Oh, SAED was slow, so we have to go Savage Axe. But I kept with SAED ever since base game, bruh. Even with Fatalis update, I didn't give a shit. I still SAED that guy. And literally, I don't need to rely on Savage Axe, unlike everyone else who basically goes CB and doesn't know the knowledge, or who even has 1,000 hunts. People still go Savage Axe regardless. I feel like the only one here who SAEDs. I'ma let you know for sure, when it comes to Charge Blade alone, I'm better than the majority of all the players on there on World. You can say you're better than me with Longsword, you can say you're better than me with Greatsword, you can say you're better than me in SNS, sure. But at the end of the day, I'll always be better than the majority of players here on World with CB. CB be like, alright, it'll hit this time. Oh really? Say the same thing for Longsword when they miss a Spirit Helmbreaker. Alright, it will hit this time. Say that to a Greatsword when they miss a TCS, also known as the True Charge Slash. Alright, it will hit this time. Say that to a bow when it's loading its Dragon Piercer. Alright, it will hit this time. And they miss. Say that to an Insect Glaive, who literally does the dive down and they miss. Alright, it will hit this time. You make no sense. Slandering away on CB, you attention-seeking ass. You're cringe yourself, mate, when you're making that name for Charge Blade. Is that the best insult you got? Never SAED, more like SAED, spam it. Never spam Savage Axe mode. Again, SAED, you're more likely to not stress yourself out, but with Savage Axe, since you're doing more evade gameplay and you have to get out of situations that you know for sure you need a shield to block, but you can't because you have guard 0, I say you SAED for sure, because you give yourself more utilities than a Savage Axe user who likes to build it like a Longsword user. It's more like a bandwagon. I want to call him a tryhard for a good reason, because again, what did I say earlier from my tryhard category? Longsword by far is the most tryhardy weapon that I've met so far on World. Now of course, when you talk about meta, this meta here is Savage Axe. Everyone hops onto the bandwagon and basically say, yeah, this is the only way to do it because they only theory craft. They don't use the weapon for experience. That's the problem. And so if you main meta CB, you're a Savage Axe user. And you're saying non-meta CBs are bad. I already debunked so many points already. SAED is still viable and it's still there. Has it been dead? You guys decided to bury it and I re-digged it up just to show you again. Without me, you guys would have continued this shit. Disgusting ass Savage Axe users, bro. Okay, Caveman.
My Swaxe's friend.
Then stay with Swaxe.
CB hurt head.
CB hurt your head? Then don't touch it!
Me no like.
That's your opinion. You either are born with CB or you don't. I'm already born with CB. This just gives me the vibes of...
Ha! I was born on the battlefield.
Now you see what I mean. I'm pretty much the only CB user here who became one with it. I already know what Unga Bunga means, and for him to put it with SAED after me, my guy, you're the one stupid here, and I'm the only one with the IQ, because I can SAED all the monsters within Monster Hunter World's roster, and you can't. Incorrect. Again, the payoff of SAED is super worth it. That's your main damage. Charging the sword takes longer, you're talking about condensed slash? Where's your focus 3 then, buddy? You didn't put it on? That's you. A you problem. Oh, your brain doesn't brain? Alright.
Let me put it in a language you can understand.
Skill issue. You have a you problem. Go play with a different weapon. Really? You're just only throwing names at this point like an elementary kid. What are you, trying to be a bully now?
Give me your lunch money,
Like, move on. Goodness gracious, you're not even that when you use Charge Blade, bro. People really hate this weapon so much that they decide to throw names and such. You get nowhere with that. The most inconsiderate person alive? I'm literally considerate because I share my builds, share you my teachings, share you everything that I know from the top of my head because I played this game for so damn long. Monster Hunter World will always be cherished within my heart only because of Charge Blade. So you'd rather be with 3 LSs with no flinch free than ever be in the same hunt with a typical random CB. Oh, so if you decide to put no flinch free on yourself and you're gonna be with 3 LSs, you're gonna be flinch either way. Your logic makes no sense, buddy. Now, of course, the only type of flinching you're ever gonna be talking about is when you get launched up by a Sav Axe user. From there, I can understand. Same time, I'd much rather solo than be with 3 LSs. Because all they're gonna do is the same nonsensical bullshits that I know about. And they're basically gonna self-glaze themselves thinking they're hot shit.
Alright, Mr. SNS Meatrider, can you do all of that I just did within the compilation? No? Exactly. Backstepping is what you can do, just to do your full rush combo. You get an additional evasion doing so. And just so you know, you're comparing SNS to CB, and a lot of people do this. So therefore, I'm going to say this one time only. Don't compare it to an SNS, neither do not compare it to an LS. They're all different weapons, in their own categories, different movesets, different playstyles. You guys slander CB without touching it. It's unacceptable. Alright, let's see. An opening? Yeah, you got an opening. Throw the SAED down. You got files. You got your shield charge. Your sword charge, you can recharge it again after you do an SAED. Because one SAED and then you can charge your sword, you get the condensed slash. And so basically, your sword is overloaded, you got Mind's Eye. Because you charge your sword. Do you not know that? Because with Mind's Eye, you can just ignore armor. It's free Mind's Eye for 45 seconds, buddy. Let's see what buttons I can press. You want to overcomplicate it for yourself and make it difficult? That's on you. And coming from me, I disagree with what your opinion is about guard. The mandatory level that guard needs to be at is level 5, not level 3. You're maxing out your guard, you get all the comfort you need to avoid getting yourself damaged. You don't rely on evade, bro. Guard up with guard 5 is all you need. You say it's wasted slots? You will only waste your slots if you don't put it at guard 5. Get yourself the necklace at this point, dude. And then follow my way of how to build an SAED build. You rely too much on Sav Axe, and I can tell right away. And if you're gonna say, oh, but the monsters attacks, some of them don't really hit you as hard. I don't care. Because to some points in the degree of your fight, depending on how long it takes, they will do heavy blows. It don't matter. Keep it at guard 5, and keep it at the same structure you need for the rest of the CB utilities. With Focus 3, Offensive Guard. The rest of the damage that you want, Agitator, Peak Performance, Crit Eye, Attack Boost. There you go. It's not that hard, but you want to make it hard, so... How long is this personal experience you're talking about? Because it's not convincing me whatsoever. Guard is important for Charge Blade. You have a shield on you. It's like you want to throw away your shield and you only have a sword. What then? You cripple yourself, right? You guys overcomplicate the guarding. It's not that hard. It's drawing out your axe. And you have to time it correctly. Just like a longsword with its parry. Timing. You guys fail to do so. Guard points are significant. You do it for SAED play. You do it for the KO stuns. And most of all, you negate damage, and if it's a continuous attack, which I demonstrated from the very beginning already, you ignore all the damage until the monster does another attack to where you need to guard point it. You see them as happy accidents, that's on you. The rest of the weapon isn't, yeah, you basically say is it demands a constant keep up. That's something you guys struggle, but I don't. You say it's the hardest weapon, but you just can't keep up with the pace. So therefore, it's on you, on your performance. That's why so many people drop this weapon. I didn't. I started from base game all the way to Iceborne, all the way to where I'm at now. Remember the guy who argued about Guards 3 being the only thing he slots in? Well, guess what? This guy right here also says he doesn't use it. Tie it back to what I said earlier. You need Guard 5. Out here, this man is comparing it to MR Kuve. So, of course, you're basically just saying, oh,
But there are attacks here that she does that, you know, doesn't repel me way too much.
well, there's the Golden Fist. There's literally the body slam you mentioned in the final phase. There's the vacant lava pool that she does throughout phase 1 and 3. And she also does a special one where she stands up and does that. You try guard pointing all of them, you're still going to get repelled continuously, and your stamina will drain and your HP will run down continuously. I don't care about literally why you wanted it to be at guard 3. You care about your stamina? Put it at guard 5, bro. I'm not going to say it again, dude. Because you get a fat bonus of 50%, which is larger. Think smart about it, bro. No, they weren't. That's their choice that they planned out. You must be on that, actually. Alright, let me keep it short and simple, just like the last time. Skill issue. There's no problem with aiming an SAED. When you look towards in the direction of the monster being toppled and you perform the SAED, do not press any of your WASD keys. More rather, your A and D key. If they're tilted to the right, you tilt it to the right with the D key. If they're tilted to the left, or leaning towards the left rather, then you hold on to the A key so that you move your character while they're performing the SAED. That way you land it. It's a you problem, because you can't even land a simple SAED on a toppled monster that gives you, at best, 7 seconds of them being downed if they're stunned, or if it's a normal topple, depends on how many seconds there is. If you don't like it, pick a different weapon. For you guys, yeah, because you refuse to touch more with it to gain the experience with it. You only play a few times and drop it immediately. That simple. So allow me to read to you what a dweeb means. A boring, studious, or socially inept person. You're describing about me? I appreciate that. You wanna know why? Because I am boring after all. Not a lot of people would even think much about me, if I'm being honest. Same time though, I prove my points using CB. People get their attention looking at my videos. Why? Because I do something very different. That's what makes me special. After all, it leaves an impression on many people who actually discovered SAED being viable after all. Studious? I've studied the weapon a lot. I played with the weapon a lot. Longsword, you guys say is super simple, and you say Charge Blade is hard. Charge Blade is not even that difficult, and a lot of people overcomplicate that. They refuse to wrap their head around with it and become one with it, just like how you guys have your own quota of becoming one with the blade. How about becoming one with Charge Blade? Something you guys refuse to accept and acknowledge. Call me a dweeb, I don't really care. I'll take it as a compliment. You're wrong. You need Focus 3 on both Impact and Elemental Charge Blades. They're not different. The only difference is the files. You basically didn't think this through. So therefore, this is a brain dead recommendation. I'm gonna say this. They are both the same with their playstyle. It's Charge Blade. Files are only different. Greatsword can't, Longsword can't, Heavy Bowgun can't, Light Bowgun can't, Bow can't, Interglaive can't, Switch Axe can't, Hammer can't. You're just getting attention. That's all you want. You want attention. You're seeking for it. This is the most retarded slander I've seen. Previous slanders I already gone over. If you have a problem with CB, pick another weapon. That's simple, right? Same time, majority of you guys can't even handle going fast with the Charge Blade and being one with it. I'm the only one who can, without even having to prioritize on Sav Axe. What? So you're telling me Savage X requires skill? Seriously? This guy by far is the brainlet troglodyte. Wow. That's the whole point. You can literally diss on Greatsword and say,
Oh, they're doing the same thing with the TCSs. They're doing it over and over again. That's so brain dead.
say it to a Longsword.
They're spamming so much of Spirit Helm Breaker. They're doing too much of the EI slash. That's so brain dead.
Saying it to the SNS.
Wow, they're doing the true rush combo. So much of it. That's so brain dead. I want to see skill.
Your point really doesn't make any sense. Artillery 5 in Iceborne is what it's needed for SAED play. Otherwise, your file damage won't be too significant for impact file charge blades. It's that simple. This guy is ignorant at this point, so moving on. Just slow? Again, you can say that for yourself on how you play with charge blade. You play with DB, so you play super efficient. Why? Because you say,
Oh, it has mobility. I mean, it will do damage. It's adequate.
You're basically just building charge blade incorrectly, and you're building it the same way. What I would assume is the same as every other weapon when it's not supposed to be. Meaning, you didn't have focus, hence your performance is slow and you're saying it's slow. You didn't build correctly, as I mentioned already. That's why your damage is insignificant and it hasn't done too much, and you're saying DBs has done even more. You don't give yourself guard so that you're able to escape. That's why you're chugging potions just like the guy who talks about apart from Valhazag. And yeah, pretty much you're just not one with the weapon. I will always keep saying that no matter what, because every single person that always complains about CB. That's on you, buddy. If you don't like charge blade, stick with your DBs, man. Ay, ay, ay. Don't just play CB. Really? And you suggest moonlighting SNS and Switch Axe. Again, he likes to compare it just like the many other people, and they're only theorizing it. They basically say CB is the closest cousin to SNS and of course SA, which is Switch Axe. When it's not. They're all different weapons, different movesets. They don't play the same, and they provide the different punishing moves. I'm not gonna read the rest of this because it's just pointless. He's just glazing over SNS and Switch Axe and basically just saying don't play CB. And you never touch CB. Moving on. Alright, so this guy right here, I do believe is like a hunter rank type of scenario here, so I'm basically going to read it regardless. You find focus while you charge up your files quicker, you're generally not going to get any more chances to SAED a target than without focus. The thing is, you're going to need focus 3 either way. You want your files back quickly enough, you need focus 3. Think about it like Greatsword. Why you want to charge your attacks faster is because you want to do the TCS. You want your files faster, get yourself focus 3. And it is also on you to figure out the monster's moveset, because if you know the grand opening for an SAED, you throw it. But it seems like you're struggling to understand that, so again, it takes time and practice. So that's on you. Now, of course, this is his build for like the Diablo's Tyrannus, the second charge blade. But really, again, like I said, it's hunter rank. And the only mistakes I'm only going to point out here is the attack 7, the weakness exploit 3. Because the rest of it here, it's fine, but he doesn't really have guard. And of course, when you're in hunter rank, you won't have a lot of dueling to do. You're mainly going to run out all the jewel slots before you can get all the attributes for CB, which I can understand. Therefore, I'm just going to say this. Attack 7 kills your damage. Only leave it at attack 4 because it gives you that 5% bonus of affinity. You go beyond that, you raise more attack than you do with affinity, therefore you kill your damage. Weakness exploit, 50%. When you land your hits on the tenderized part, guess what? Too much affinity by 50%. And you have more affinity than attack, which leaves it out of balance. You need to keep it balanced. Simple as that. It's funny how you say Charge Blade is dead. It's not. When I came back, grinded all the way to 9,999 plays of Charge Blade, I revived it. You wanna know how? I've been joining SOS throughout simultaneously each day. And moreover, throughout time, I've seen a lot of Charge Blade users start popping up, one by one, in different SOS flare matches. Even if the monster is fast, like Rajang, even if the monster is slow, like Shara Ishravalda, I can still SAED all of them, no matter what you say.
But he's so tiny.
I don't care, you can still take 6 files. Kieran can't though, he can take at least half of it. And you say short animations, long animations, blah blah blah. You wanna play
Charge Blade, guess what guys, this is the only way, only Savage Axe.
when it's not. You wanna know how? Check my videos. Evade Savage Axe only is what gets you to your downfall. You cripple yourself without focus 3, you cripple yourself without guard 5. When you get yourself into a situation where guard saves your life, but you have no guard, you're gone. You carded. The Palicos will now take you away. It's on you. A you problem. SAED play will always be superior than Savage Axe play. You will not change my mind. SAED is alive. Use it. No, you're just bad. You wanna know why? Because even if you slander on Charge Blade, I know right away you're just bad with Charge Blade, which is why I always say from the very beginning, if you don't feel one with the weapon, pick another one. There's always Longsword. And you say speedrunning doesn't count? Well, guess what? My videos aren't for speedrunning because I don't do TA Wiki. TA Wiki is pointless. I show strategies and I show ways to help out people, so therefore my videos will count towards this. SAED spam is effective, dude. That's how you get damage. I do this move in both base and Iceborne on Monster Hunter World. Savage Axe, you say that, but when I see people's builds with it, they put attack 7 with it. Just like Longsword. Seriously? And you basically wanted to explain the further explanations of how it's done, blah blah blah, I don't really care. And then of course you want to talk about effective weapons, I don't really care about that too. Elemental CBs are great, but in some occasions you will have to bring impact file charge blades, because some of the monsters with their elemental, depending on how it's going to be played against them, obviously it's not going to be that great. You have a strict mechanic here. You have to have the monster in some certain mode So I'll bring Zinogre as an example. If he's not charged up, your Ice CB will not do as great as it is when he's basically not charged. When he's not charged, your damage will be reduced. But when he is charged, your damage will be great. There are strict requirements here for you to actually bring Elemental CB, which is why, again, with Charge Blade, you have to think of it by its scenario. What monster you face, what to bring. It's just the same with every other weapon. You think about the monster's weakness, you know for sure that if you bring the element, it's going to be stronger against them. Now, of course, every weapon, however, is obviously more dependent with physical damage, aka Wex. Charge Blade has something with elemental files, which relies more heavily on elemental. And I'll bring another example here, Diablos. If you bring Ice against Diablos, at best you can do over 400 damage against the guy with just a single file of Ice. If you don't tenderize your elemental damage, you say, it don't matter with the initial hits. You're talking about physical hits. If you're talking about the other weapons, yes. But for the files, they're non-crits. It's only boosted by attack 4 and agitator, so forth. A guard point SAED KO is a turning point. You wanna why? Because you're able to get yourself an opener. The monster's toppled. They're stunned. Just like how Hammer would stun a monster, you get yourself an opportunity to damage for free. Hammer players care about it. Charge Blade players care about an SAED KO. But for you, it seems like you're being triggered for absolutely no reason about it. You're saying the weapon's overpowered? Yes, it's overpowered if it's built correctly. Not all the people that I know for sure built it correctly. You wanna know why? Because they heavily focus on Sav Axe and they think they're an LS user when they're not. Guard points is what matters. And you say, I wouldn't have such a huge hate boner. Bro, keep that in your pants. I'm not forcing this agenda down in anyone's throat either too, by the way, because again, with my playstyle and with my representation of how CB is played, I don't do Sav Axe. What I do is perform, have you think about it, it's a given idea, a given reference. And if you have anything for me to share, you share it. Humble person. It's a good weapon choice, it's a good damage, because at the end of the day, it's your choice of a weapon. Remember what did I say from my CB guide? CB is one of the 14 weapons. Therefore, if you select it, that's your choice of a weapon. If you don't like it, pick something else. Longsword is over there. Take your overpowered and no fun tier you like to compare it to an SNS again. What's so special about this comparison? There's literally nothing that is so comparative. GS miscarriage. A GS miscarriage. Interesting. Disrupt the ecosystem far, far away from literally anyone. Guess what, buddy? At the end of the day, I'm not going nowhere. I'm still around, no matter what you say. And I still wouldn't care. This is your opinion. The only person that I do believe that should keep to themselves because you're gonna get hate for this type of behavior is you. The way I talk with my own attitude, sure, there's people who basically think, oh, I'm talking it way too harshly or whatnot, but I'm actually being passionate. Because the way I talk is to actually help out. You guys just don't see it, so I'm gonna let you know. I help out so many Charge Blade users realize that SAED, no matter what, is gonna be viable. It's still better than Sav Axe because a lot of people like to build it with attack 7 and build it with all this stupid nonsense that I see throughout the builds. I just don't like it. I'm gonna conclude it with this. I'm the true Charge Blade master, and no one's gonna best me in world with SAED. You wanna play Sav Axe? I'll still beat you with SAED. You wanna compete one-on-one with actually SAED? Okay, let's see who comes out the winner. If you beat me, great. If I beat you, there's a lot of practice you gotta do. Cheers.